So this is your card slot piece on the classic zip around wallet. Excuse the creaking. I swear it's not me this time, it's the chair. So you're going to want your directional fabric to be going this way towards the place with the shortest amount, because you're going to be folding this over and then it'll be stacking up towards this fold. So I'm not giving measurements, however, you can find them in the pattern itself. So I'm going to use this ruler because it's a little bit harder to see on camera. So just out of respect for the designer. So I'm going to do my first mark, and then that's really all I'm going to need the pen for because I have them memorized at this point. So I line up that one mark and the other mark. So the key to really helping yourself out with these card slots is to have nice straight lines all the way around. When I cut my long strips out, I cut them at a little bit larger and then trim them down. But I also don't do her measurements. I do the final measurements because I know I can get nice straight lines. So I have my iron with lots of steam ready to go. I have pushed over that large one. So this will be the part for the cache of the wallet. This is what we're aiming for. So this is the top piece right here that you just pushed back, and now we're going to do our folds. So for our first fold, I put my measurements here at the top of the line. I take my piece and push it over, kind of pull it tight against the ruler. And then I make sure that my sides are lined up really nicely. Then I put my iron down and I push out to one side, go back to the middle and push out to the other side. Again, blast it with some steam. I'm using 809, Pellon 809. That gives you nice, crisp card slots, no matter what the pattern. So I'm going to put my ruler down again. Now, when I'm putting my ruler on my measurement, I'm making sure, first of all, I'm not using the side that has the half extra in measurement, but I'm also measuring it on the side. So I'm lining it up here and on the bottom. Pull over, take my ruler out, press it down. Again, I'm making sure that everything is sitting nice and even on both sides. I go into the middle, I push out one side, back to the middle, push out to the other side. I have a cordless iron, so I do have to put it back on its station soon, but I know how many wallets, or I'm sorry, how many pockets I can get before I have to put it back on. Again, I'm making sure that everything is even on both sides. Give it a little crease with my nail, and then from the middle, push out, from the middle, push out. And then I set it down and just kind of give it a little blast of steam. And now our ruler down. Like I said, you should have the measurements, and it's not a bad idea to have them nearby. Make sure that your sides mark up. Make sure you're not using the wrong side of your ruler like I keep doing. My measurements are a little bit different than the patterns. It's mainly because I know how wide my ruler is or how thick it is, and I know what doing the way I do this is going to, how it's going to affect it. So now I pressed my seam button and steam didn't come out, so I know that that means it has to come back onto its little station that is, of course, right under the camera. Okay. So, nope. Almost. There we go. And take your time. No matter how many I've done of these, I've noticed that if I take just a few extra seconds to line up everything, they come out really nice. I also take my nails and kind of just like trace along the ruler a little bit. That gives me a creased line to work with. All right. There we go. There we are. And my iron should be back up and running. There it goes. So again, in the middle out, in the middle to the other side. And then we have one more fold. I've had a lot of requests for this tutorial. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm hoping by watching this will help you a little bit too. Okay, then I give it a good blast of steam. The really nice thing about using 809 is that when it cools, it's like paper. So it's going to have a nice crisp edge. So definitely you won't have to worry about top stitching this. Please excuse my god-awful board. I really need to redo this iron. So now I'm going to take a little bit of my glue stick. I'm going to then, making sure not to go too far up, I'm just going to put a bit of glue right in there. I'm going to make sure again that everything lines up nicely. And then I'm going to clip that so that the glue will dry in the place I want it to. Because sometimes when I'm pressing, it can askew them slightly. So by doing this, it will help when I'm going to sew them. And it also makes sure that I'm able to fix anything that went askew. There we go. That went just a little askew. Here we go. All right, so put that on. And then there you go. They're ready to sew. The way I do them, I don't have much left over the way you do with her folding method. So when you fold up, it should be a really nice line right there. But there we go. That's the card slots. You can go ahead and mark your line if you want to. Sorry, I just noticed that that line does really nicely there. I usually mark to the half. So say this was 9 inches. So if it's 9 inches, then I would go on one side, 4.5 in, flip it over, and then 4.5 in again. It's going to give you just a slight variation, or it might give you the exact line, and then I do 2 lines of stitches. But you'll see that in the live. If you're not there for the actual live, that's fine. You can watch the replay. But ta-da! And now you have these lovely card slots. And what I do is I do take a moment to make sure everything is going to sit in there really nicely.